Bueno chicos, ¿qué tal chicos? Vamos a continuar con la serie Vampyr. Y bueno, vamos a donde nos quedamos ayer, que era en el regreso al hospital. A ver, ¿qué nos dice aquí el amigo?
It's okay, Jonathan. I'll see you later.
Ok, vale. Nada, vamos a dar una vuelta por aquí. Hostia, lo acaba de acuchillar.
Rotten or pristine, each heart contains the seeds of life. Drink at this river, try it all.
Oh, come on, you bastard! I won't bite.
Sir, please. You've lost too much blood. Calm yourself.
You think I didn't notice? Stop your staring and get me to an hospital, you arse!
Insulting a good Samaritan. Not exactly the way to get rescued.
All right, sorry. I am in pain here. Me guts are spilling out onto the street and you're yabbering on.
Yes. That's a very nasty wound you've got there. Take my word, I am a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Name's Clay Cox. I'd appreciate you helping me to a better place, Doc.
Follow me, Mr. Cox. Let me assist you to that better place.
Bring this fading light into the shadows. Dance with him the dance of life and death.
No more. Not tonight. Not like this. I will not take another life.
Ok, cogí un muelle. ¿Qué más hay por aquí?
It is wise for the huntsman to sometimes let his prey go, but no famished hunter can run for long.
Bueno, estamos aquí en el hospital, ¿no? Por lo que veo. A ver, ¿qué hay por aquí?
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet. Perhaps you could help me.
Brilliant professionals, most of them. Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting talent.
Most of them. Is there a problem I should know about, nurse?
It would be inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Nurse Brannigan, if you
A
do
ver,
know
cuéntame,
something,
cuéntame
please
más.
tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No. I may disagree with some conduct, but in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Is there anyone that stands out?
Well, I have never met someone as dedicated as Dr. Tippett. He should be a standard for us all here. If only he were younger.
Why should his age be a problem?
I guess it's fair to say he's always pushing himself to the limits. He just doesn't know when to stop and get some rest.
How are things here?
Not good, to say the least. We're struggling against an invisible enemy, more lethal than any bullet from a gun. It's hard, Doctor.
An invisible enemy? Quite a poetic term for a disease, especially from a nurse.
Sorry, Doctor. These last few weeks have been exhausting. We could all do with a good night's sleep.
Esta sabe algo más.
Do you think this hospital can survive the epidemic?
We are all volunteers here, and we're trying to hold fast, but how do we beat an invisible killer? Some nurses have already resigned.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
I'm not one to make wait, Doctor. I've patients to attend.
Sí, ya voy.
Doctor, where have you been? I've little time to play hide and seek with new staff members, no matter how illustrious they may be.
I found a wounded man by the docks. He answers to the name of Clay Cox. He requires urgent medical attention.
Already making the rounds? That's the Pembroke spirit. I'll ask our porter, Milton, to bring him back immediately.
Thank you, nurse. What can I do for you?
Dr. Swansea insisted we provide you a quiet office. You'll find it on the second floor with your name on the door.
Thank you. Nurse Crane, isn't it?
Yes, Dorothy Crane. Welcome to Pembroke Hospital, Dr. Reed. Your office has been prepared.
Ok, muchas gracias.
I would like to ask a few questions first. And Mr. Hampton, the patient we brought in, how does he fare?
I gave him a sedative to help him sleep. Poor thing was in quite a state of shock.
What kind of man is Dr. Swansea?
Well, you accepted the job from him. I thought you would have known about your employer.
Apologies, I've only just met him the once. This is sudden. I've only just returned to England.
Dr. Swansea is a brilliant surgeon and the most compassionate physician.
Thank you, Nurse Crane.
Ok, bueno. Vamos a por la consulta entonces, ¿no? A ver qué hay por aquí.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reed. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reed. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reed. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
Goodbye,
Ok.
Milton.
Ok, o sea que cuando necesite un arma, algo más decente, te vengo a buscar. Muy bien.
Dr. Swansea is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Daily routine.
Me dijo que arriba, ¿no?
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news.
Hostia, tiene un aire a Christopher Lee, el de Drácula.
Actually, yes. We met once before at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
Nah, preguntas personales, nada.
You're exhausting yourself, Corcoran. Maybe you should think about preserving your strength.
No, we must keep on healing all those poor souls. We are the last rampart before chaos. Once more unto the breach.
Nurse Brannigan is worried about you, Doctor.
She should not have told you that. I will have a word with her.
You don't have to blame her for her honesty.
I'm not that kind of man, my dear Jonathan. Actually, Nurse Brannigan's opinion is the only one I may listen to.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Ok, está cerrado.
Not now. Please come back later.
Ok.
It's locked.
Tía, ¿de cojones está mi...? ¿Estará del otro lado? Una sierra usada, ¿eh? ¿Está bien?
It's locked, all right. This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes.
O sea que este es mi...
Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own.
Este es mi
At
escondite.
least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Hostia. Ya parece todo cambiado. ¿Y eso?
The flower's dying. It needs water. William Bishop's blood is much more unstable than human blood and shows extensive mutation. But this is not what happened to me. I must keep on searching. The sun is about to rise. I can feel it. I'll continue tomorrow night. I have so much time now.
Tenemos aquí. Ya se volvió a buguear el rollo así con el mando. Oh. Está bloqueado esto todo, ¿no?
If I'm to stay here until my research is complete, I'd better learn to hide my true nature from the mortals. But what about my thirst for blood? Yes, Nurse Crane? How can I help you?
I'm so sorry. I know Dr. Swansea wanted you to rest, but we have somewhat of a crisis.
A crisis, you say?
Our supply of antiseptics is nearly depleted. I was hoping there was another box up here, but...
Sorry, there's nothing here.
Some of the patients won't last the night without them. Honestly, sir, I'm beside myself.
I may have a solution. In France, during the war, drugs shortage was a daily problem, and we had to use our wits to overcome the shortages.
However do you mean?
If combined correctly, certain household chemical products can be used in a pinch instead. Now, where's the hospital storeroom?
The storeroom? Fat chance. This is the Pembroke, and space is luxury we don't have. Everything used to be stored in the old morgue.
La antigua
Perhaps I should
morgue.
look there first. Where is this morgue?
It's the large building behind the hospital. You'll need to go in the back door because it's been sealed off for sanitary reasons. Take this key. It opens a small back entrance at the end of a narrow street.
The abandoned morgue behind the hospital. A small door at the end of a narrow street. On my way then. Thank you, nurse. It's locked.
Aquí ya había visto todo, ¿no? Aquí no había nada.
Not now.
Ok. que la puerta de atrás era por aquí.
I cannot enter.
Oh.
Scour voices in the garden. I should invest.
Escuchan... Se escucha bichería ahí, ¿eh? Vale, ¿y aquí qué? Aquí creo que es por donde vine, ¿no? Creo que sí, ¿no? Que entré por aquí. Sí, entré por aquí. Buah, yo escucho bichería ahí, ¿eh? Monedas... A ver, ¿qué más hay por aquí? Algo interesante aquí. Esto está abierto.
It's locked, all right.
Está cerrada. ¡Hostia! A ver si lo puedo sorprender. ¡Oh!
Behavior is similar to the infected William Bishop. Must be the same strain. This sickness moves faster than influenza.
¿Y ahora qué? ¿Qué tenemos aquí? Botellas de alcohol.
This key will surely grant me access to the basement.
Ok, ya tengo para abrir la puerta de abajo. ¿Qué más tenemos por aquí? Más nada. ¿Por qué me sacó? ¡Hostia! Oh, la madre que lo parió. Ni lo vi. ¿Aquí qué?
I cannot enter.
Está cerrada. Y esta nada tampoco. La cámara va un poco así. Balas. Ok. Cartuchos de escopeta. No hay nada más, ¿no? Raro que no pueda abrir la puerta esta. Y esta tampoco.
It's locked, all right.
Aquí ya.
Balls of Mars, fortifiers. As popular as they are ineffective. But they do contain iron tartrate, and that might prove itself useful.
Joder, sigo escuchando vampiritos. Subiré. Aquí nada. Aquí nada tampoco. Aquí es donde entré antes, creo, ¿no? Sí. Pues hay que seguir bajando. ¡Hostia! ¿Qué carajo fue eso? Parecía igual que yo. Buah, 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 buah.
These skulls feed from corpses and the husks of animals. They're not after blood.
¡Buah! ¡Cabrón! Madre que lo parió. Y ahora... Ahí hay otro.
It's locked. It's locked. Mr. Connor's injuries don't match the report. I'd better look into this. The chest was originally opened to perform the operation. The sutures are clean, but the chest has been reopened. Traces of a pinkish foam at the corner of the lips. Some sort of drug overdose, perhaps? Multiple abrasions and scarring on the arms and legs. old and distinctive injuries of a sailor or a fisherman. A puncture over the left lung, possibly a chest tube insertion. Not the cleanest work, but I think it was successful. Signs of internal bleeding. So, Dr. Tippett's anesthetics were incorrectly dosed, causing the patient's death. And then, he tried to operate on him again. Tippett has made an egregious error. It's time we talked. Tippett has made an egregious error.
Vale.
It's time we talked.
Ok. Pero esto que sigo sin poder abrirlo. ¿Qué más tenemos por aquí? Mierda, gasté balas a lo tonto. Oh, la hostia. ¿Y ahora aquí? ¿Ahora aquí qué? Buah, ¿y ese? Buah, 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 buah. Buah, buf, qué chungo. Hostia. Uf, me jodió. Sí, ya sé que la sangre me da fuerza. Buah, otra vez aquí con este cabrón. Uf. Vale, esto es lo de antes. Esto sigue cerrado. Ah, no tengo nada aquí. Tía, ¿cómo uso esta? A ver. Ah, lo cambio aquí. Vale. Uf. Hostia.
Skulls can be so ferocious. I'm not sure I can defeat them without becoming stronger. To drink blood is so tempting.
Oh. ¿Y ahora qué? Aquí no puedo subir. Uf, necesito sangre. ¿Cómo fabrico el suero? Ah, vale, no tengo.
Sodium hypochlorite. Dangerous to administer, but efficient in the proper dosage.
Buah, aún hay bichería por ahí, segurísimo. Bueno. Bueno, decir que de momento me está gustando, ¿no? Salvo... ¿Qué es para aquí o para aquí? Ahora sí que me perdí. Para aquí creo, ¿no?
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Joder. Todo está cerrado.
It's locked.
No sé si tengo algo aquí para analizar o algo. En principio no, ¿no? Sí, ya sé que la planta necesita agua. Tengo 3. No sé qué es eso de reciclar. Bueno, vamos a dormir. Venga, vamos a descansar un ratito. Y a ver. Tácticas. Vale. Esta no creo que puedan, ya no tengo seguramente. No. Oh, por poquito. No, pues ya no tengo más, creo. ¿No? Vale. No. No. Ok. La noche siguiente. A ver qué pasa la noche siguiente. Elabora un tratamiento para el agotamiento, sí, pero ¿cómo si no tengo...? ¿O cara yo lo elaboro?
It's locked, all right.
Not now.
I cannot enter.
Arriba, ¿qué hay? ¿Algo? No, nada.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
How would you describe the situation at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Buah, ya tengo que hablar con mucha gente ya.
It's locked. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed.
Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir. Especially when he was supposedly dead.
A colleague. Are you a doctor too?
Not anymore, sir. I used to be Dr. Rakesh Chadana. Now, I'm just Mr. Chadana, pawnbroker and humble guardian of this morgue.
What do you mean, you used to be a doctor? Was your license revoked?
No, sir. It is just that I like to be precise. I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
¿Esto qué es? Trato ferroso. 15.
Never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead, seem peaceful and lost at the same time.
Carajo, dice el payaso este.
It's locked.
Porque antes me decía que a 0 metros tenía al otro. No lo entiendo. Uy, ahí no. Ya
Good
estoy bien.
evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Corcoran, I want you to tell me about Mr. Connor. How did he die? What happened?
He was my patient. He died because of my mistake. That's the blunt truth.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the administered dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed a body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man, I admit it, and it won't happen again. I have saved so many lives since then.
Ya, pero te lo cargaste.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett.
Tengo que hablar con... Ah, con el militar también.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reed. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
Va, pero no me da para... Hostia, ¿con quién más tengo que hablar? Ahora estoy un poco perdido.
If only I were young again. Just a dozen years or so.
Otra vez.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. Good evening, Mr. Cox.
Dr. Reed, still working at night, I see. I like that.
And why is that?
People who don't sleep at night always seem more alive to me. More interesting, one way or another.
I'll leave you for now, Mr. Cox.
Gives me courage.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor.
Otra
Still
vez.
trying to save lives?
Goodbye, Milton.
Venga, chao. Tía, voy para el lado que no es.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children, Ellen. As for me, what a bloody...
I cannot enter.
My sweet girl.
Yes, Doctor?
Reads me like a book.
Why then do you always work the nights? Don't you ever sleep?
At the Pembroke, we're always hands on deck.
Lack of sleep and the medical profession always ends in disaster. I've witnessed many a colleague succumb to stimulants to fight exhaustion. Drugs were as deadly as bullets in the trenches.
London's trenches start here at Pembroke Hospital. We are on the front line, make no mistake.
Your dedication to the Pembroke does you credit, Nurse Crane, but when do you sleep?
We staff get our sleep when we
Esta,
can.
esta esconde algo.
Nursing is a vocation, not the labor of a journeyman.
Venga, vale, chao.
That's all for now, Nurse Crane, thank you.
Venga, arrivederci. ¿Qué
Good
pasó?
evening, sir. Doctor.
A ver, ¿qué pasó,
Good
amigo?
evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Este fue mordido.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see.
Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
Good evening, sir. Doctor.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs you, sir.
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
Are you really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Vale, amiga. Venga.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Chao, chao.
So many deaths. And still more coming.
My sweet girl.
How can we be sure we're making a difference?
Vamos. Joder, ¿pero dónde carajo está? Tío, estoy perdido, ¿eh? Ahora sí que me perdí. Estoy un poquito perdido.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching
Buah,
me
esta
every time
está...
I visit the garden.
Esta está trallada de la cabeza. Esta está trallada de la cabeza.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Joder, tengo 2 misiones que cumplir ahí, estoy más perdido.
Scowl voices in the garden. I should investigate. If they were to find something...
Oh. A ver si lo puedo sorprender. Uf.
So, Mr. Hooks and Nurse Hawkins are an item. Those two have hidden their affections well.
Voy hacia el otro lado. Estoy un poco perdido. ¿Aquí qué hay? Otro bicho. A ver. Vale. Aquí es la antigua morgue, que aquí ya estuve. Vale, a ver si consigo llegar a los puntos esos. Está claro que este es el hospital, ¿no? Este es el hospital. Joder, no puedo hacer ni uno. Ah. Bueno, a ver. ¿Qué tenemos aquí? No tengo. Para este... nada. Táctica. No, pues tampoco tengo. pues no tengo nada. Vamos a reponer.
The flower's dying. It needs water.
It's locked, all right.
Ahora estoy un poco perdido.
Not now.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Gracias por nada. ¿Este quién carajo es?
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Ah, este es el cura al que salvé antes.
Apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
A ver, preguntas personales. ¿Qué tienes por aquí?
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Ah, no es cura. Por eso a lo mejor no...
How do you feel,
La cruz no le hace daño a él, claro.
Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel... empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest, and then I can go back to the people who need me.
Vale, pues venga, vámonos. Subida en Londres, a ver qué tenemos aquí.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place, and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then?
O sea que la gripe española está haciendo estragos en Londres.
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the dockers' trade union. The wet boot boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to book a saint, not even criminals.
Bueno,
Goodbye, Mr.
nada,
Hampton.
venga, hala, chao,
We'll
chao.
talk again later.
No me ha sido de mucha ayuda, pero bueno.
I cannot enter.
¿Dónde carajo está la Dorothy esa? De los cojones. Aquí, por fin.
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls? When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
I will not let you down, my boy.
¿Qué hostia pasó ahora?
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
This hospital seems to be falling apart.
No quiero cautivar a nadie.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Please, Jonathan, come in.
A ver qué me cuentas, amigo.
Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must... all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
Esto no es ningún
I'm a
regalo.
dead man. I was murdered. Now I'm a murderer. Tell me how this is a gift.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
Thank you. But I'd rather you didn't speak so lightly about my condition. There is nothing I find amusing about this situation.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Ok, a ver, tengo que hablar con la lady esa. Hala. Vamos a junto a la lady esa. Por aquí. Cae aquí. Está junto a las tiendas, dijo, ¿no? Junto a las tiendas.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk.
Hostia, Renfield. No me tendré que enfrentar a Drácula.
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
O sea que esta es una vampira. Vamos a ver esto.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
A ver, tengo algunas preguntas sobre los vampiritos.
Concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need weight.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Okay, vamos.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
Please continue.
Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, Your Ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
O sea que quieres hacerte una transfusión de sangre para volverte humana.
If that was the case,
Eso es imposible.
I'd settle the matter myself.
Estás jodida, amiga.
You could talk to our local
Vas a ser
gossip,
una vampira
Harriet
toda
Jones.
tu vida.
Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Vale.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Have you heard rumors of anything underhand going on here at the hospital?
No, Doctor. Never.
Have you heard rumors of anything underhand going on here at the hospital?
No, Doctor. Never.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
Perhaps you did it with the best intentions, Nurse Brannigan, but you took a great risk. Must I remind you that a man died?
You mean you've never made a mistake? Never covered your tracks? Come on, Doctor. I wasn't born yesterday.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
Perhaps you did it with the best intentions, Nurse Brannigan, but you took a great risk. Must I remind you that a man died?
You mean you've never made a mistake? Never covered your tracks? Come on, Doctor. I wasn't born yesterday.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of view. Dr. Tippett's is a brilliant practitioner. We most definitely need his know-how.
I hope you're right. This is a huge risk we're taking.
Dr. Tippett's must regain his confidence. Please, keep this decision between you and me. He doesn't need to know you found out.
Have you heard rumors of anything underhand going on here at the hospital?
No, Doctor. Never.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
¿Y ahora qué?
Is our little mystery closer to being solved, Dr. Reed?
I think of nothing else, my lady.
My situation is delicate, and it occupies all my thoughts. The blackmail must stop. I need assurance.
Tengo que hablar con Harriet. ¿Y dónde está Harriet? Debe estar aquí dentro.
What is this? Who are you? Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't want some bumbling intern. Where's Dr. Swansea?
Please, calm down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave. Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
If I didn't know better, Miss Jones, I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see those little bitches' greedy little eyes. Just waiting for me to pop off they are.
I assure you, madam, this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They
Hostia.
can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round. The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them. Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
She could have been telling the truth about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
Amiga.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one of the nurses during her shift?
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Bueno, me falta la otra enfermera entonces ahora. ¿Dónde carajo está? No, por aquí no. Por aquí puede ser.
Calm the children, Ellen. As for me,
Mi mamá, pero esta se fue a... Por aquí. No. No, no es por aquí. Tiene que ser por aquí.
When I get back, I'll have a word with you.
¿Dónde carajo está?
You're sure you don't come back with me?
Nah, I have to see someone at the hospital.
Be careful. You look so bad they may keep you as a patient.
Fuck 'em. I don't like hospitals or doctors.
Well then, when you go back to Whitechapel, you may find this useful.
What is it?
A pass for a free medical exam by the best nurse available. Just read it.
I don't read well, but thank you, I guess.
Hostia, se me fue la... Bueno, vamos a entrar en las cloacas de la ciudad. A ver si no tenemos problemas aquí.
This man has been savagely attacked and dragged to the floor.
Hostia, aquí vuelvo. Vale. Mierda. Uf. Joder, muérete, hostia. Ay, no, salí. Mierda. Mierda, no quería salir, hostia. Buah.
Are you injured, sir?
¿Qué pasó, amigo?
I need to get out.
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd be glad to help you, but you must calm down first. Please, take a deep breath and tell me your name.
Okay, I'm Oswald Thatcher. Please, I need to get out.
All right, Mr. Thatcher, you're safe now. Do you think you can reach the street by yourself?
Yes, I do.
Good. Now leave this place and enjoy the cool night air. It's quite invigorating. I'm sure you'll feel better if you do. Are you sure you're all right, sir?
Yes, I'll be... as soon as I can see the sky again.
Are you sure
Otra
you're
vez.
all right, sir?
Mierda.
Yes, I'll be... as soon as I can see the sky again.
I have this thirst for blood.
Dice que descanse para evolucionar. Bueno, pues vamos a descansar para evolucionar y lo dejamos por hoy. Bueno, por hoy o por un rato. A ver si carga. Muy bien. Ok. Las escaleras, ¿dónde están? Ya, ahora sí que estoy perdido, ¿eh?
It's one of them!
He's too fucking fast! Christ, he's dead!
This is despicable. I can't believe I'm doing this. It's locked, all right.
I said stage one!
Stay alive!
Joder, yo solo quería buscar para descansar.
I'll take it. You'll pay for that! Eat this! Oh my god! Christ, he's dead!
It's locked.
It's a leech! Get it! Watch it!
It's locked, all right.
Uf, me fui a tomar por culo.
Let's pin it down!
Uf, me fui a tomar por culo.
It's locked.
Ahora sí, a ver. Es hora de ir a descansar. Ya, pareció que brillaba algo aquí.
It's locked, all right.
Venga, a dormir. Bueno, por fin. Vale. Ok, la noche siguiente. Pues ahora en cuanto nos despertemos es el momento de salir, ¿no? Así que, chicos, sin más, nos vamos a ir, volver al menú principal. Ahí está. Muy bien. Pues sin más, chavalotes, nos vamos. Así que, chao, chao. Luego igual le damos otro poquito. Por el momento